Welcome to another episode of A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. Hey, we're on the road. If we sound a little different to you, and there's a reason for that. But first of all, I am one of your co-hosts, Kelly Raspberry Evans. I do the podcast with my husband, Alan.
Hello, I'm Alan. Hey, train in the house.
How weird do you feel doing that with other people in the room?
It's a little weird.
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
You're
It's
not
a little
making
weird.
eye contact.
Yeah, I was just looking at the little bars go up and down and all the flashy lights in here and the 10 screens and all this stuff.
Yeah, Alan.
Very intimidating.
Alan came to my number one workplace. Actually, the podcast is my primary job. I have this other side gig that I do with the Kid Craddock Morning Show, nationally syndicated. And Alan came into the studio today because we have a special guest in the studio with us.
Very special guest.
And this is actually a fellow podcaster, part of the Yay Network podcast family. We are welcoming Molly Kimball, and you are the host of Fueled, the Wellness and Nutrition podcast. And we are all about wellness, aren't we, honey?
We're all about wellness now. We weren't, I'd say, a year ago.
So, Molly, welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Welcome, Molly.
Thanks, y'all. I am so excited to be here.
Good. We are too, because I was telling Alan, we've been telling our audience too, we've been making some big changes in our lifestyle this year. Alan does a thing called a bucket list. He doesn't do a New Year's resolutions list. He does a bucket list. He introduced it to me. And why don't you explain to her about your bucket list?
Yeah, Molly, it's a yearly list. And it's, to me, they're more than resolutions. They're things that I want to do like before I die. So it's more than, lose 5 pounds. It's like become healthy and live healthier. And what does that mean to me? I had some big goals at the beginning of the year, but to me it was mind health, body health, exercising. It was a lot of things that I wanted to accomplish this year. So I put that on my bucket list for 2019, and we've knocked a lot of that out.
A lot of it out. Some things we don't always get around to. But the health and fitness we have been working on, honey.
Yes.
And that's why I'm excited to have Molly, because not only is she a member of the podcast family, we're going to suck her for every ounce of knowledge she has.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what
we are.
Right?
Yes.
We'll pay big money for this health and nutrition advice.
Sound like a vampire a little bit there. Wow.
It's here for the taking, absolutely free if you just download the Fueled podcast.
No, I have some questions too about kind of our nutrition journey as well.
And I have so many for y'all too, because I've been listening and I know that you don't. So I like the idea of the bucket list, and I think that's fascinating. I'm not a big resolution person because that immediately people think failure when they think New Year's resolution. Mm-hmm. How many times do you not do it? How many years have you been doing the bucket list?
Probably for the last 3 or 4.
And when you said, mind goals and body goals, health goals, did you just say mind goals, or did you break it down into the action steps that you were planning for each?
I didn't get that detailed, and we've talked about this on other podcasts. I purposely probably didn't do that subconsciously because I had failed so many times before in this regard with the mind goals. But
some things are very specific and some things are more broad. Like, for instance, he wanted to take his son to his first professional football game. That's a very specific thing. But then getting mental health, that's kind of broad.
Yeah, that was
so it's
very
a mixture.
That was very broad. That was more about, okay, this year I'm going to get off prescription medication. This year I'm going to get healthy. What does that mean to me? To me, that meant, probably dropping some weight, but then also eating healthier, going to the gym regularly.
And creating this lifestyle that supports all of those.
Exactly.
Right? And I think when you say something like those goals, even like the broader goals like that, and don't have the specific action plan, what I'll do is kind of on my everyday to-do list. I know Kelly is a pen and paper notebook person, and I'm a pen and paper for like kind of I fold it down the middle, and on one side I have like the long-term things that are bigger projects that I don't want to forget about them. Mm-hmm. But then I have on the other side the stuff that's going to be for that day or that week. Mm-hmm. And at the top of it, I have like my top 3 or 5 priorities. And so if that's always there of mind goals, whatever that priority is, as long as if I'm going to say yes to something or commit time to something, does it align with what these 3 main goals are? So kind of, what are you taking onto your plate, and does it fit into what you've put in your bucket list?
Yeah,
that's helpful.
No, that's a great way to do it. I wasn't quite that organized. I had it in my book. I wrote it down.
Yeah, we have an actual book. We have a red leather book. We go out on December 30th, not December 31st, because usually we have plans. But on December 30th, we each take the book and we write our bucket list for the year ahead.
I really like that.
Yeah, and then we look back at the end of the year and don't always accomplish everything. But this year, I think we've knocked a bunch off.
Yeah, but for this year, and again, we've kind of addressed this on some other podcasts. It just kind of, for me anyway, it all just kind of fell into place as the year went on. As you know, as I tried to get off the medication, we also started our weight loss journey at the same time.
Is that a good thing in your opinion?
I think it's incredible. And when you look at, first of all, talking about coming off of antidepressants, as you know, that is a serious thing. And so anyone listening to this, I know you've covered this, but you have to, you've got to be really careful in this. Don't just, I want to stop taking them and come off, because that can be not safe. But when we look at, and some people aren't able to come off of them ever. And so I think that, being aware of kind of where you fall and knowing that, like, if you do need them, and we have to accept that to some degree. You
have to work with your doctor on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's so many times that I look at, the circumstances that someone has kind of filled their life with. And when you look at, well, you're on antidepressants, but when you look at their diet or their lack of movement, and their diet is filled with sugar, with soft drinks, with all these things that are putting them on a true roller coaster of energy, of mood. They may be overcaffeinated. It interferes with their sleep. And so they wake up, they're, hitting I have one client who does 4 shots of espresso first thing in the morning.
Oh my.
And then she confessed in our session last week that she was also doing caffeine pills in the afternoon, and then a caffeine energy shot in the after that. And
doesn't
shocker,
understand why
she was
can't
having
sleep.
Yes. So we're first things first, let's dial back on this and let's look at what's the root of it. But when you look at the caffeine or the sugar, the white processed foods that are in people's diets, and not only are those things, they cause these highs and lows, these spikes of energy, these crash, our insulin and our blood sugars are all over the place. They're edging out things like the omega-3s, the lean proteins, the vegetables that have been proven, those omega-3s have been proven to be great for our mood, our mind, and as natural antidepressants. And so when we look at our diet, we're putting all this stuff into our bodies that's setting us up for that, and then we're just taking a pill. So I think when we're saying, okay, let me come off of the antidepressants and let me make these nutritional changes at the same time, if everyone could do that, I think it would be so much easier in those trials to dial back the
That
meds.
sounds so familiar, because I used to be an energy drink guy. I used to be an Americano guy at Starbucks,
with the added shots of espresso.
Yeah, espresso. And my sleep is something we've talked about a lot on the podcast too. I had bad sleep apnea, and I got that taken care of this year too.
Do you have to use the machine anymore?
No, I never used a CPAP, but I had a custom mouthpiece made for me.
Well, first you had the surgery.
I had different types of surgery
metal
done.
Thing, the rods put in
Pillar.
his
It's called a
palate.
pillar procedure.
That didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was severe, but he did not want to do the machine, so a custom mouthpiece was the answer.
But as Molly just said, the caffeine plus the sugar and I had a sweets addiction. I mean, I eat sweets all day, and
because you were so tired.
Yeah, but those things plus not sleeping, I think I was just in kind of a spiral of.
And it's so hard
unhealthiness
for people to get off that spiral. And that's the thing, people, we don't even realize how rotten we feel because we're so used to feeling that way. So if that's how you operated for a decade plus, you just were accustomed to waking up and feeling like you'd been run over, but that's just how it was.
Right, exactly.
And you don't even realize how good it feels to not. And so I think if someone's listening to this, it seems so far away to people. It seems so hard to get to. But then it's like, okay, what are some of the changes I can start making right now? And soft drinks and like energy drinks are one of the biggest. And I'm a former energy drink person. Oh my gosh, the sugar-free Red Bulls. And it's been, I guess it was probably about 5 or 7 years ago. I went out of the country to a place that didn't have sugar-free Red Bull. And I used that. I said, okay, I'm not going to drink the sugared Red Bull, of course, like as if it's that much better, than sugar-free. But I said, okay, I'm going to, dial back the energy drinks. And so I went cold turkey then. And I don't even have one because I'm afraid that I would get back to it.
Yeah.
But so spoken from that, not at all judging or anything, because people, it's easy to get on that slippery slope. And it's a very gradual thing that you don't even realize you're spiraling until you are. So I think taking a step back and saying, what are the biggest things that I need to look at? For some, it might not be sugared soft drinks, but it might be caffeine, or for some, it might be alcohol. And they're drinking more than probably what's,
I did that too.
Yeah. And then you wake up and you have the caffeine because you're feeling run down. Yeah.
Exactly.
We were a hot mess, Molly. But I'll tell you, for a lot of people like Allen, he made a lot of, with the medication, the antidepressants, he weaned himself off. But as far as the diet and exercise, he went more full steam ahead. And I think it just depends really on your personality types. I think for some people, they just eliminate everything and let's go. But for some people, it is more about doing one or two things at a time, because otherwise, if you try cutting out every bad thing in your life at once, and then when you mess up, you're like, well, I'm a failure. I screwed up. Just forget it. And you get on that roller coaster of all or nothing.
I think that's a really great point. And people like tune in because you know yourself the best. And some people, the idea of making all these changes, it has them just kind of like off
Paralyzed.
Paralyzed. Exactly. Paralyzed. And I'll call it the paralysis of perfection, because unless they can, they feel like if they can't do it all perfectly, they don't even want to get started. So if that's you, then pick that one thing. If it's caffeine, let's tackle caffeine. And so everyone's kind of different, but others, extreme diets work for a lot of people, maybe not in the long term to stay on it, but it works to give them that confidence that they can do it, pull some of the pounds off, and then they feel like getting into the gym. They want to do these things,
And there's so many, I guess you could call it a fad diet, but it seems like everybody is doing the keto program. And I even tried that for a hot minute. I don't think I gave it a real good shot. I did it for about 2 weeks and gained a couple pounds. But I didn't do it by the letter of the law. But does keto work for everybody? Because you hear so many success stories. And then people, they get off of it, they gain the weight back. But then you hear about the benefits. We were just talking off the air a little bit about they're finding that it's connected to, cancer and things like that.
Exactly. A reduction in risk of cancer.
Reduction of it, yeah.
So what's interesting about keto is a lot of people say they're doing keto. They think they're doing keto, but the reality is that they're doing low carb.
Yeah,
they're not doing
I don't
keto.
think at the end of the day, when it was like, well, I don't think I had enough fat today. So I was literally eating, and I use literally, I was eating balls of butter and cream cheese and
Ew.
just forcing them down because according to the book, I wasn't eating enough fat, but I don't think I was doing everything else 100% correctly either.
So what's the difference between keto and low carb?
So I'm like laughing. Like,
It was so gross.
did it task good, or were you just forcing
It was
down?
good. At first, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And I popped that first one in and the first few bites, and then like,
Yeah.
that gag reflex. I'm eating balls of butter and cream cheese. It was so gross.
Gross.
But it was good for a minute.
And then she's like, I gained a few pounds.
I gained a couple pounds in 2 weeks because I don't think like I said, I wasn't following it to the letter. But I think when you're on a diet it's that restrictive, if you have to follow it by the letter, then that's not a diet for me and my personality type.
So to answer Alan's question of low carb versus keto,
Yeah.
traditional keto diet has actually been around for like 100+ years. It's been used for kids with epilepsy that didn't respond to medication. And when they followed this very low carb diet that was almost all fats, it actually changed the way that their brain was firing and reduced their incidence of seizures. And so the thing to keep in mind with keto is proteins. When we eat protein, I'm all about protein. That's first and foremost. I love it. But protein, like carbohydrate, can be converted into glucose in our body. So when we eat carbs, they're released quickly as that, fast release of blood sugar. But protein helps us with muscle repair, muscle growth, all these things. It helps with energy, focus. But protein can also be converted into glucose in the body. So when we look at a keto diet that's really keeping that glucose low, it's low carb, but also pretty low protein too.
Yeah.
And so what a lot of people do, the reason I say they're not really doing keto is they're going to places, they're having the steak, they're having salmon, they're having all these things, and they're having maybe broccoli or even no vegetables, but they're getting so much protein into their diets that they're not really in the state of keto or ketosis, which can be measurable by strips, the urine strips, test strips, and things like that. They're not really in ketosis, but they are still going low carb. And I do think low carb absolutely has its benefit. I think so many of us have an abundance of carbohydrate in our diet. We're sitting so much of our day because we're sitting at our desk, we're sitting in our cars, at the computer, watching TV, and we're not really moving our muscles that much. And we take in all these carbs as if we're fueling for a whole lot of, high intense physical activity, and we're just so sedentary. So I think for many people, dialing back carbs, or I would say most people, dialing back carbs is first and foremost. That with your sugary soft drinks, a great thing.
But not eliminating altogether.
Most of us don't need to. There are some times that I would say yes. Now, on the keto diet, many of the people that we've seen come in as clients who are following the keto diet truly to the letter also lose muscle. because they are a lower protein content. And so just going low carb, though, not so much. And so I do think that, however, if you have someone that is, extremely obese and has a lot of extra weight to lose, keto can be a great thing to at least pull some of that pounds off of them, period, get them feeling better so they can start moving more and things like that.
You think it's better just to like eliminate more sugar and not worry? Because I mean, there are good carbs.
There are good carbs that are whole grains, so whole grain breads, sweet potatoes, brown rice, etc. I find people often still eat a lot of those, and sometimes they'll eat more because they think it's good for me.
Yeah.
They'll have more sweet potato fries than they would if it was regular fries.
Oh, you shouldn't put us in front of a bag of pork rinds, right, honey?
Oh, you eat a whole bag, yeah.
Because they are carb-free and crunchy.
But I think with keto, one thing that I'll encourage is not going the butter cream cheese route as much. But with keto, you can really do a heavy plant-based keto with coconut oil, with avocado, with fish, fattier fish. So there's ways that you can still do keto without just the lard-based diet. And so when someone's doing that, that is what I encourage, is doing more of a plant-based version.
Lard-based. That's what I was doing.
So
I was on a lard-based diet.
Lard-based, babe.
Ugh. I don't know if you saw Alan's Instagram story of us in bed the other night. No, it wasn't like that. He was showing everybody what the last thing I do before going to bed is, and that is a quick round of Best Fiends. This is a really fun game I play on my iPhone. I'm up to level 247, by the way. In pretzel land right now, fighting slugs with my army of bugs, blasting my way through walls of sludge. It's all about strategy and timing, and it's really fun. Some of the levels are more challenging than others, but I do like a little challenge. It makes it that much more satisfying when you advance to the next level. Otherwise, it's just a fun, casual game for adults, but actually anybody can play. If I'm sitting in a waiting room or waiting for a friend running late for lunch or winding down before I turn off the light and go to bed, I pull out my phone and play a round of Best Fiends. It never gets old because Best Fiends updates the game every month with new levels and events. With 100 million downloads globally and 5-star ratings. If you're not playing Best Fiends yet, why not? All your friends are. So engage your brain with fun puzzles. Collect tons of cute bugs along the way. Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. And remember, it's Best Fiends. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends.
When we started at the beginning of the year, here are all the things we cut out in the first month. We had no dairy, no sugar, no oil, no carbs, and no alcohol.
That was for the first month.
That was for the first month.
No oil?
No oil.
Like no olive oil?
No olive oil.
For the first month.
For the first month. And then we were able to introduce some
health.
How
did you come up with that list?
Well, that was a program that we subscribed to.
Okay. It was like a set program that told you to cut this out. Okay.
Exactly. This information was given to us, and so we followed it. And we lost a lot of weight really fast. Now, I guess my challenge now is, now that we're both exercising more, Kellie's working with a personal trainer, and I'm going to a HIIT gym, like I was telling you before we started. But my challenge now is I'm almost afraid to eat carbs because I haven't done it really all year. But now that I'm working out a lot more, I feel like, well, what can I go to for that energy that I need for my workouts? That's what carbs should I eat? That's one of my questions. And then also, I've heard a lot of conflicting information about the number of proteins I should have, the grams of protein I should have at my weight. So what's optimal for me in my workouts?
What's the rule?
Yeah.
So, and I love that. So doing that really extreme diet at the first of the year is, I mean, those categories that you said, there's very little foods left that you're eating.
Well, they're all good foods. That's what I was telling Alan. I said, don't concentrate on what you can't eat. Concentrate on what you can. And you just have to get really creative with spices and things like that. And it helped that we were doing it together.
Yeah.
So what I do like about something like that is that it completely gets those things out of your diet that you feel. Earlier you said you felt like you were addicted to sugar. And when we eat sugar foods and desserts and stuff like that, this is the craziest thing. And we did a whole podcast on keto and plant-based keto with a cardiologist, which I think is fantastic. So listeners can hear that. And then I have a whole podcast on like why we crave and why we self-sabotage. But in short, on this kind of feeling addicted to sugar, when we have things that have sugar and salt and fat all together. So if you think cookie dough or carb, salt, fat, cookie dough, potato chips, chocolate, ice cream, these things actually like light up these receptors in our brains that are the same receptors that opioids, addictive drugs, cocaine.
Wow.
So people have a physical reaction to it, and everyone has that reaction on some spectrum of the scale. So some people have a very low response to that. And these are the people who they're like, yeah, I could eat like a handful of M&Ms and I'm good. I don't need them for another couple of months. And you're like, what? I can't stop
Who are
eating
you?
them. Yeah. And then there's others who are like, knocking back that whole pail of cookie dough you could get at like Costco or something.
I could eat a freaking box of Chips Ahoy,
Totally.
soft cookies. Easy.
And so everyone responds differently to that. So I think the first thing that I would say is when you look at clearing a diet out like that, you are immediately stopping that response that's happening to those foods. And so you're not having that like this light up of a reaction, because basically it causes all these like it's those hormones that have that calming, soothing, that endorphin release, but basically an intense effect on us that is like drugs do. And so if you're a high responder to that, you're probably better if you don't put those in as part of your regular diet almost ever. And I used to not feel that way, but I had clients over the years that would clear out these things from their diet. And then being a dietitian, you always want to say, well, let's gradually add it back in so you can live a normal life and you can have a little bit of this. I had a few that completely derailed them. They went, it was like giving
all or
an addict
nothing,
a little bit of drugs, and it didn't.
Yeah. And that's what and when you move on, you do gradually incorporate the healthy fats back in, the almonds and, the olive oils and the avocados. And
it's almost like
that.
I'm nervous to order a bacon cheeseburger and fries, because I know, well, if I eat that, I'm going to want it more next time.
Well, and I think a little of that fear is healthy if you are on that kind of end of that spectrum. But I think the things of that list you said you cut out to add back in, what Kelly was just saying, the oils and stuff, so avocado, olive oil, those are things that are very satiating. And because they're fats, part of why keto works is they're not causing that roller coaster of blood sugar and energy. So that those are safe to add in. Yeah. They're not going to start that spiral. On dairy, milk is naturally high in sugars, but I love stuff like Greek yogurt, the unsweetened Greek yogurt that doesn't have sugar, or cottage cheese. I think that doesn't get enough press.
I love large curd.
Large curd. You can't find it.
I can find it.
I'm not a fan of the cottage cheese.
I love large curd, and I go 4%.
Isn't that curdled milk?
I don't know. It's curds, and I love it.
It is. In New Orleans, I cannot find large curd cottage cheese. So if anyone hears this,
well, I will try getting you some and shipping it to you on dry ice or something. What about? I love it. I love squishing it between my teeth. I love everything about cottage cheese.
What about curds and whey?
I don't even know what that is.
What is whey?
I don't know.
Whey is the protein that we know about. But what's crazy is whey is also kind of in the liquid part of milk. So Greek yogurt, they make regular plain yogurt. They actually strain it through something that would be like a cheesecloth, and that liquid that comes out of it has some whey, but also all the sugars in it. And that's why what you're left with in Greek yogurt is high protein, low sugar.
Look at there.
My grandmama Raspberry, she used to live by the Farmer's Almanac. She did a lot of interesting things. And I don't know if she got this from the almanac or if this was just growing up in the country, but she would purposely let milk clabber, and she would drink clabbered milk, which is basically spoiled milk.
Gross.
It gets like that little filmy stuff on it. Why was she doing that? Because when I was a little girl, I just thought it was gross. But there has to be some health benefits behind her doing that.
Buttermilk?
She would let regular milk almost go sour, and it was called clabbered milk. And she would drink that, and it was kind of chunky and gross. But I was assuming because the country that there has to be a reason behind that. There has to be some health benefit.
This was in South Carolina, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of things are different there, but.
Well, I was sure there had to be some health reason behind it.
Well, Molly knows what whey is. Does she know the answer to this one?
Clabber is a new word for me.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. But that is, I wonder if it was like a fermented, buttermilk is higher in probiotics. So I wonder if there was something in that.
Because there's that fermented stuff like that kefir stuff that's supposed to be so popular.
I wonder if she was almost making her own buttermilk or kefir.
See?
Yeah.
Ew.
Did you drink
Grandmama
it?
Raspberry? No.
None of that sounds good.
No, I didn't drink that. But my grandmama, she would go by the almanac, and she just had all these little, Southern remedies for everything.
So Molly, so best pre-workout meal, proteins versus carbs. I've heard a lot of different stories about what I should be eating, but I had a guy that I really trust. He knows a lot about nutrition. He told me in a day, 1 gram for every 1 pound of body weight of protein.
I agree with that.
Does that sound correct?
And usually what I'll say is a gram per pound of body weight.
Is that if you're working out, or is that just a regular person?
Regular. And it would be a gram per pound of healthy body weight.
Oh.
So if you're 250 pounds, but your real like true healthy weight is 150, it would be 150, you know,
Okay.
because if
Okay.
you've got someone who's very overweight, we don't need to eat that much. It's
Right.
more what your healthy weight is. I do like 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. If I've got someone who's not a big protein eater, I'm going to try to get them to at least half a gram of protein or 3/4 of a gram of protein per pound of body weight. But I like that's a real easy frame of reference is 1 gram of protein per pound of healthy
That's
body
interesting.
weight.
I didn't heard that.
Yeah.
But if you're working out and you're more active, do you add more protein or you just keep it at that?
Well, if you're working out and you add more, it's usually going to be, you don't need more. So
Would that be maybe adding more carbs then?
we'll also say the RDA or the daily recommended intake is less than that, but it's lower than what most active people would need. And there is also movement to get that raised to reflect active people. So a gram per protein is more than what guidelines would say, but it's what I do with my clients who are otherwise healthy, active, you know.
Yeah.
Bumping that protein, even if you want to lose weight, bumping that protein up to 1 gram per pound has you adding in things like your fish, your chicken, your lean beefs, these things that are protein drinks. These things are very satiating. So the more that we raise that protein up to get to that 1 gram per pound of body weight, you're edging out and you're edging out the other stuff and you're helping to curb those cravings. And so the simplest thing when someone makes sure they get that protein at breakfast, at their snacks, they're getting that 1 gram per pound a day. It's crazy how much less they'll start craving carbs. And to put in perspective, like 3 ounces of chicken, which is not a lot of chicken, is about 20 grams of protein. Most people would eat about 6 ounces. That's about 40 grams of protein. A carton of Greek yogurt has 20 grams. Scoops of protein powder has 20. So
That's good.
you can
rule of
easily get
thumb.
there.
Whatever weight you know you should be, 1 gram per pound.
Okay, let me ask a dumb question because I was trying to do grams to ounces conversions in protein.
Go Google that, baby.
Yeah. If you got 1 gram of protein, it's not 100% grams of protein. Or if you have 1 ounce of protein, it's not 100% grams of protein, right? I mean,
And you are overthinking it.
okay.
But
Yes.
the 3 ounces of meat I said earlier is like 20 grams of protein. An ounce of lean meat, so say skinless chicken breast or sirloin or something like that, has about 7 grams of protein, plus or minus 5 to 7.
Okay.
It's got a little bit more fat in it. It's going to have a little bit less protein, but on average, lean meat has about 7 grams of protein per ounce.
Oh, okay.
But
That's a
you're
good
right.
rule of thumb there.
So
Yeah.
things like salmon is going to have more oil in it. So ounce for ounce, it has a little bit less than a leaner fish, but we like those oils that's in there. But yeah, that's kind of each ounce of meat is basically like an egg worth of protein or 7 grams of
Got it. Okay, that makes
But you
it a lot
can't
easier.
overthink it as long as you're just doing better.
No, I know.
Right?
But we used to count ounces of
I
protein
know.
when we were on our weight loss program.
Yeah.
We would count ounces of protein. So I could have 12 ounces of protein a day.
And so 12 times 7 would be roughly 84 grams of protein.
Yeah, that's
or
not a lot of
something like that.
protein.
Right.
Yeah.
That was during the initial.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well, it's been very interesting, and I'll be honest. When we were eating as clean as we possibly could, and I felt great. We were getting our energy, I guess, from different sources because when your body's going to find the energy from somewhere, right?
Exactly. And it's like what Alan was saying earlier, when you're having, the white carbs or alcohol or caffeine, you don't feel good.
Right.
Yeah.
When I started incorporating, because when I went cold turkey, I even gave up coffee for a while, and I thought I was just going to be on the floor, just a puddle, and it was the exact opposite. I felt really, really great, which is kind of surprising to me that then you're like, well, I do miss that cup of coffee. So then you have one, and then that becomes 12.
And something like
Because
coffee.
you just love the experience of it
and
sometimes.
the flavor. Yeah. And it's kind of the ritual for people.
It's
Something
the
like
ritual of it.
a
Yeah.
cup or 2 of coffee a day is fine.
Right.
And most kind of upper limits would say even 3 cups of coffee a day. Of course, everyone's different. But I think just kind of that's one that coffee is actually a good source of antioxidants. And what else are you putting in it? And if you're not putting all kinds of sugar in it, I don't mind
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah.
so
I
much.
still have my coffee, but I cut the heavy cream. I cut the caramel syrup, and now it's almond milk and Splenda. And
Look
I'm
at
and
you.
I'm fine with it. That's how I drink it now. I'm
Try
fine with
doing
it.
a natural plant-based sweetener.
Oh,
instead of
like what would that
Splenda.
be?
So I like
Trivia.
there's Truvia, there's
Okay.
I have it at the house
Swerve.
in the green packet.
Yes. And there's Swerve, I think you said you have too.
We have a whole bag of Swerve at home.
Either. Try. They're both natural
Okay.
plant-based sweeteners.
Okay.
And it just on that one, it just comes to what do you like best in your coffee? And then you could keep those packets in your car. You could keep
I'm gonna
them
have to do
wherever.
that
Yeah.
because my favorite national coffee chain does not have
Yeah.
Those things.
those things. I
Yeah.
don't think.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, bring it with you. But I
Yeah.
would like to get that artificial sweetener out just to keep
Okay,
things as
another
clean
good
as
tip.
possible.
And
Yeah.
sometimes
Love
it
it.
takes a minute because your taste buds have to readjust. Because your taste buds
Yeah.
have to readjust a little bit. And now you actually kind of prefer it.
Oh,
this
if I
way.
drank an Americano now with heavy cream and
Ugh.
caramel syrup, it would
Right.
taste like motor oil. I
Right.
mean, sweet motor oil. I mean, I
Right.
couldn't do it.
So that just takes time.
Yeah.
The other thing is make sure when you're doing almond milk, ask and sometimes I also ask to see the label. Is it unsweetened almond milk? Just making sure that the coffee shop you're going to is unsweetened. Because if it's sweetened almond milk,
Yeah, I
it's
think
We
it's-
never have
sugar.
asked.
Yeah.
We just say steamed
At
almond
home,
milk.
you bought it. You bought unsweet.
Yeah, I found sugar-free
Mhm.
almond milk creamer. I found that. That was a.
And that's
That was a.
that
man,
stuff
was
took some.
fine,
That took
right?
some getting used to. That
You
stuff was
did?
thin, but
Yeah.
you get used to it. You know.
Yeah.
That's the
So just
thing.
make sure it's unsweetened
Okay.
for all of those. Yeah.
Well, Molly not only is one of our in the podcast family with her Fueled podcast, so she's going to have a whole ton of information there. And you actually said you have some very special guests coming up on future podcasts.
Yeah. So I mentioned we talked about the keto cancer researcher. I'm really excited about that. There's so much on that. And then this week, I am scheduled, fingers crossed that it all rolls since we're talking about it, scheduled to do a podcast with Dr. Andrew Weil. So he is kind of the father of like introducing to mainstream complementary holistic medicine. And I've been an admirer of his for a long time. So I'm really excited to do an interview with him this week coming up.
And he also has the
True
restaurant.
Foods Kitchen.
True
Exactly.
Foods.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's his place.
Is
Somebody
it really?
famous just invested. Was it Oprah?
Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah
Mhm.
just invested in the True Foods chain.
No kidding.
Yes. And I, Alan at first, before he got on this new healthier lifestyle, he never wanted to go there with me, never. But
I like it now.
yeah, exactly, because your taste buds have shifted
Yeah.
somewhat. But I love their quinoa burger in there.
Uh huh. Yeah,
It's
I've had
so
that. Now
good.
this sounds weird, but I had a kale salad there the other day, and it had Parmesan cheese on it and like some type of light dressing, and it was actually pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, I never thought I'd say
Because-
kale was any good, but it was
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
Yeah, so True Foods, that's really great. And she's going to be talking to the man that's responsible for a lot of things on that menu.
Yes. Oh, he's and that and more. The True Foods is kind of just his even latest venture. He's just such a wealth of knowledge on medicinal, approaches for medicine and things that have, not medicinal, herbal, and things that are using very. People used to think it was a little bit fringe and maybe a little bit like out there, but now there's science backing it up that this
Right.
is legitimate. And so a lot of stuff that we consider mainstream now as our approach to wellness. Back in the 70s, 80s, he was bringing it up and it was new, and he was very forward thinking and a big advocate of getting this pushed into mainstream.
Well, it's forward thinking, but it's also like going backwards a little
Right.
bit because you're going back to the earth and what God gave us on the earth. I mean, all those years ago when they didn't have, all the chemicals and stuff, they had to treat their illnesses and things with what they grew out of the ground. And so I think that's really an interesting approach. But it's forward thinking, although it's kind of backwards thinking at the same time, right?
You're right. It's actually, I think I should not even say it's forward thinking.
Right.
You're right, because it is going back to what's been used for decades, centuries, or even thousands of years. And, I know that and this is what we'll be talking about, but he's done an extensive amount of traveling, learning as he's been in all these places. And then how can we take that back here? And with the way that we live our lives now is so far removed from listening to our bodies and listening to the earth. And I think that the conversations that we're having now, the things, especially the changes that Alan and you have both made, you're listening to your body more. And that's step one, because a lot of us, we're just on autopilot. We let our phones tell us whatever. We let the clock tell us what to do at what time. We don't really listen to how we
Right.
feel. So
I'll tell you, when we were eating extremely, extremely clean, like I said, our energy levels were great. Our moods were great. We had
You talk in the past tense.
well, I was going to say because of what happened this past weekend.
Oh yeah.
That's why I was
Yeah.
saying that. That's why I'm saying when we're doing what we're supposed to do, when we're eliminating the bad
Yeah.
things.
Good point.
I mean, bad things taste good. Sin is fattening. That's what I always like to say because it tastes good. And Alan, we went out. Football. You've got the temptations of the beer, and when you start to drinking, then you start popping the carbs. We both felt so lousy afterwards.
Oh my gosh.
We go to bed at night. We're both suffering heartburn.
This Saturday.
Our bodies
Sunday, yeah.
Our bodies are rejecting that stuff. But here's the problem. If we don't listen to our bodies and correct it now, but we keep doing it, our bodies stop rejecting it.
Right.
And then suddenly that just becomes normal again. And we're like,
I used to be able to do days like that, no problem.
Right.
But now if I do it, like we had a couple of margaritas the other day, and
messed
I
us
felt awful the entire day. It's like I was buzzed the entire
It's like our
day.
bodies
I could not
reject
get
it.
rid of that feeling in my head,
But not saying that you can't live a little sometimes.
I think it's choosing. So I think that's I'm a big fan of like negotiations.
Yeah.
And so if there's alcohol there, like a margarita is one of the worst things.
The worst, yeah.
Absolutely.
The sugar, but something like a
But it was a
beer-
skinny margarita.
Well, that is better actually.
It was a skinny margarita.
Yeah, and it still left you feeling that
Yeah, we
way.
only had 4. Yeah.
Yeah, well, 4.
Well, let me tell you, it was a charity thing, and they want you drinking at charity things.
Yeah.
Because you agree to anything.
Yeah.
It's on them.
It's on them.
It's their
But then
fault.
we got to pay for it later.
But there's, football games, for example, looking kind of at the spread of options and seeing like what is worth it, and is there a lean protein in here? Is there any of this? And I'll encourage people when we host tailgates, we'll put things out there that are going to be grilled chicken sausage or vegetables or things, and people eat it up. And it's not like not at all finger wagging or judging.
Right.
If there's something there that looks good, I'll have that if it looks really good to me, but I might not have the other 3 things out there that also look good. So
Yeah.
kind of deciding like if the cookie, for example, does look really good, then passing on whatever the other starchy things are. And it's kind of the same thing at restaurants. If you're going to have a cocktail, then not having the chips that come with the first part, or the starch that comes with your entree, or not having
Balancing out
dessert.
the bad.
Exactly. And looking at the appetizer-y, starchy, carby, bready things with your starches that come with your dinner, swapping that out for veg, with your desserts and alcohol, looking at all of those as the same, because they're all basically carbs, just in different flavors.
Mhm.
And then seeing, okay, which of these do I want the most, and then passing on the others. And so it's not perfect, but it's a way to kind of live your life with the stuff that you enjoy the most. But looking at those things is all under the same umbrella.
Yeah. Are you in a relationship? Things are going great. That's wonderful. But you can use Relish. It'll keep you on your toes. Or are you feeling disconnected from your partner? It's nothing serious, but you're looking for a way to reignite that spark. Relish is for you too. They'll show you that little things can make a huge difference. But if you feel like your relationship is broken beyond repair, I don't want you to give up. You can turn things around with Relish. Look, relationships can all start out great, but slowly over time, especially when you've got mortgages, bills, kids, you can get disconnected from your partner and disillusioned about the relationship. Well, Relish is the first ever personal trainer for relationships. Use Relish alone. You can use it together as a couple. You answer some questions about your relationship, and then you'll receive advice on how to improve certain areas, like how using your words can change your relationship. Relish can also provide you some really great insight, and they'll give you weekly lesson plans tailored to your relationship's needs. But don't panic at the thought of having homework. You can do the weekly lesson plans at your own speed, and you're not being judged or graded. But Relish just helps you realize you need to put some focus on your relationship. It makes all the difference in your relationship's health. And each member is assigned a personal relationship coach. They'll check in with you by text to help guide and support you, and you can reach out to your coach anytime you need some support or advice. Thousands of people are already enjoying Relish every day. You should join them. And right now, Relish is giving our podcast family of listeners a free 7-day trial. Go to hellorelish.com/sandwich to get 7 days free. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain. That's Relish. Try it for free today by going to hellorelish.com/sandwich. That's hello, RELISH.com/sandwich. Now, if people want to, I want people to go find Molly's podcast. It's really easy. It's Fueled Wellness and Nutrition Podcast. If people have specific questions they want to address to you for a future podcast, do you have a way for people to reach out to you and connect?
Absolutely. And my website is mollykimball.com, and you can email me through the website.
Okay, mollykimball.com.
Or just molly@mollykimball.com is my email. And that's the best, is getting feedback from people.
Yeah.
We did a segment on kombucha recently.
Yeah.
And we got a message from someone that sent a screenshot of kombucha and said, beer has been our usual Friday night drink. We're having this because, it can be a substitute, and they were trying it, so it was interesting. And so just getting the feedback when people are actually doing something that we talk about is fantastic.
Well, send your questions to Molly. She might address that on a future Fueled podcast. And something else Molly has very exciting coming out. I know as a nutritionist and a wellness expert and everything, it's really a big deal when all your ideas are put into a book. Yes. And you've got a new cookbook, right?
Yes. So my full-time job, so podcast, of course, is the separate fun job. Full-time job is with Ochsner Health System in New Orleans, and I'm at a fitness center called Ochsner Fitness Center. And it's a big, huge complex where our offices are. We have a bunch of dietitians there. We have multiple locations. We've had our nutrition department there for about 20 years where we see clients one-on-one and have built that up. And it's been really cool to see that grow. And it's real wellness focused. We aren't hospital-based dietitians. We're fitness center-based dietitians. And so we kind of stay in our lanes on that. But we've got a real motivated population. And one of the barriers that we saw was when people dine out, all bets are off because you don't know what's there. So in 2013, I started a program called Eat Fit NOLA, like New Orleans, Louisiana. And it's a nonprofit. We work with restaurants to put healthy items on menus. And we've since expanded it through the state. So we have Eat Fit BR, a dietitian there in Baton Rouge, Eat Fit Acadiana with Lafayette, Shreveport. So we have Eat Fit.
All able to listen to the Kid Craddock Morning Show.
Yes.
We're syndicated in all those markets.
Yes, you are.
They're so excited I'm here with y'all right now. Yes. Especially Savannah, our dietitian in Shreveport. She sort of wanted to come. She's like, don't you need an assistant for this?
Next time.
She is
Come on,
super
Savannah.
fan. So yeah, we've expanded across the state, and it's really cool because we work with restaurants, we work with chefs, and we have all these things we've talked about, the white carbs, the sugars, the plant-based fats. We've worked with restaurants to put these on the menu. So if Alan or Kelly is going to a restaurant and you're trying to follow this, you know that if you see that Eat Fit seal, it's been done for you. And then we have an app where people can download the app. You can see a photo of what the dish looks like. You see all the Eat Fit items on that restaurant's menu.
Oh, wow.
And then you see the full nutrition facts for it.
That's only in Louisiana
Only
right
in
now.
Louisiana now, yes. The app, though, the Eat Fit smartphone app, you can download wherever you are because we have hundreds of Eat Fit recipes on there. We have also brand-specific shopping guides, some for Whole Foods-type grocery stores and some for regular traditional grocery stores. And I say brand-specific because we know the messaging of what we should get of whole grain XYZ or whatever it might be, but you don't know which Greek yogurt to buy, which almond milk to buy. And so the brand-specific shopping guides have exactly that. And so those are on there.
Yeah, I like that. I don't want to have to guess.
You don't have to think.
I like to be told.
That's all on the app. And so the cookbook is exciting because it's a compilation of these recipes from these celebrated chefs and Eat Fit partners, largely from New Orleans, but also around the state. And we have combined them into one cookbook. We have about 125 restaurants or 125 recipes from about 40 different partners combined into this cookbook.
It's
and that's
beautiful. We have an advanced copy.
There was some yummy stuff in there. I saw a steak salad in there. It looked amazing.
Yeah, you love a steak salad.
I love me a steak salad, yeah.
And it's really been a cool thing. And what I'm super proud of this because as a nonprofit, we don't have a big budget. And we worked with a publisher called River Road Press in New Orleans. And we did, it was me putting the recipes together and drafting it. But our team of dietitians, our interns all helped. But we have an intern, Emily Eichhoff. And y'all, she's a nutrition student. She's worked with us for about 3 years. She taught herself to use a camera. She did the food photography in there.
Good for her.
Really?
And it looks incredible.
Really good. Wow.
And then there's a few shots where she wasn't available, or we had Teddy Taylor's another photographer who we work with who did the others. But I am so proud of how it came out because, you put something into it and you're like, we're going to figure this out. Yeah. And Emily and I were like, let's dive in. Let's figure it out. And so anyway, that's out and it's at eatfitcookbook.com. It'll be on sale in stores, Barnes & Noble, online, places like that, mid-October.
But you can pre-order now.
Exactly. And so
while you're thinking about it, go ahead and do it.
It's a great gift for people, especially if you're listening to this and you know people who are kind of starting to make these changes. Bringing them like restaurant quality dishes that you can prepare in your own home is really cool. So yeah, eatfitcookbook.com has the link for that.
Eatfitcookbook.com. I'm sure Molly's going to have a lot of information that on her website as well. But Alan, you know what she's got in that box?
Is there food in there?
She bought us something to try.
All right. Nice.
So this is really exciting. Okay, so one of the recipes in the cookbook is king cake. And it's a rustic king cake. It's sweetened with swerve. We talked about that earlier. It's made with almond flour, coconut flour.
Because king cakes are the tradition in New Orleans. What is the history of a king cake? Am I putting you on the spot by asking you that?
A tiny bit, but I'll say this. King cake is, there's King's Day, which is January 6th. And from King's Day till Mardi Gras, the day that Mardi Gras is, changes each year.
Mm-hmm.
But from King's Day till Mardi Gras is when king cakes are sold. And it is traditionally a bunch of white flour and sugar. There's a bunch of different ways to make it, but it's sort of like a brioche meets a cinnamon roll. And you've got like the long dough, and sometimes it's twisted, sometimes it's braided. And if you go into a king cake shop during, or a bakery during king cake season, they are whipping that around like ropes, like those big ropes people work out with, and braiding these king cakes, making it into round, and then you stuff the baby in there.
Right.
So traditionally it's white flour, sugar, and then over the top there might be a glaze.
Like a drizzle of colorful, because they're always like orange. I mean, no, not orange, yellow and purple, the colors and green of Mardi Gras.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So traditionally they're like, in Allen's old days when he would want to have that IV infusion of just sugar and sweets, I have one client that tells me during king cake season, he would take a slice of it because they're always in someone's office kitchen during carnival.
You can't get away from them.
Get away. He's like, they had king cake, so I brought it into my office. He's like, I turned the lights down, I shut the door, and he like savors every bite.
Well, there you go. If you're going to do it, just embrace it.
But it's a thing for people. So this recipe in the cookbook was so delicious. And I was like, we need to scale this up so that it can be available for retail sales. So if someone's not going to make it themselves, we want them to be able to buy it. So last year we had it in the New Orleans area. And it was such a hit. It was really incredible. And so
because you're cutting what out of it? You're cutting.
They're gluten-free, they're low-carb, they're keto, they're Eat Fit. They don't have the artificial food dyes that most king cakes have, and no artificial sweeteners or sugar.
Perfect.
So it's
And
really
you're going to tell me that all that's gone and it still tastes good.
It tastes good. So it's like pound cake meets king cake. And it is, so what was neat is it was so well received last year. We had retailers in other regions who said we want to carry it for the 2020 carnival season. And so we're actually working with a bakery here in Dallas called Unrefined. And Taylor, she's co-owner with her mom of Unrefined. It is a gluten-free bakery. They've got it's either 7 or 9 locations of bakeries through Dallas. But she worked with us to even make it dairy-free.
Oh, wow.
And so that's really neat. And so this is one from her that we'll try to just open it right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Molly, I used to think that gluten-free was a bunch of malarkey until all my stomach problems went away. Like when we started eating gluten-free, I didn't have the problems that I used to have. And so now I prefer things that are gluten-free.
Yeah, you actually
I don't know if I had a gluten...
You mocked people.
Well, my brother-in-law,
I'll give each other a hard time.
I would joke him because he'd have to drink gluten-free beer. Like, why are you drinking gluten-free beer? He's like, if I have gluten, it'll like throw my stomach out of whack.
Yeah.
And I think I had the same thing
until it happened to you.
Exactly. So I can eat this.
But I think that
wow,
the gluten, about a small percent of the population is truly celiac, but there's a lot of people who feel like you do, and they're
bloating and the cramping and the trips to the bathroom.
Right.
And it's gluten sensitivity, and that is a thing. And so I agree. A lot of people feel better, but sometimes it's maybe not just the gluten; it's all the other stuff that was with it too.
Yeah. That's
how do you know for sure?
Well, that's what my doctor.
So much stuff.
Well, that's what my doctor told me. He said, "Well, it's probably some gluten, but probably the quantity too could be a problem." I'm like, okay, I'll cut back.
Thank you.
Oh wow.
My first king cake of the year.
And y'all,
thank you, Molly.
King cake this year.
I have probably not, because you were like in high intensity mode at the beginning of the year.
That is really good.
Oh my gosh, it's rich.
I'm gonna tell you what I like about it. We've had people, we get king, with being up here at the radio station, people send us king cakes a lot. And what I found a lot of times is they're so dry. This isn't dry at all. It's very moist.
It's moist and rich.
Because, you've had a dry king cake.
I agree. I think a lot of king cakes do get dry, so people then get them filled, which doesn't really help our cause.
This is so moist.
Yes. And so it's the reason I point out that it's gluten-free.
Or a crumb cake.
The gluten-free matters for people who are celiac, but the reason I love it being gluten-free is that means it doesn't have white flour. And so the almond flour, the coconut flour is higher protein, higher fiber. It doesn't have all that white refined starch in there. And then coconut oil is the main source of fat, coconut milk.
So good.
So it's all plant-based. So
no sugar.
No sugar.
No gluten.
This is so good.
And no dairy. I can eat this all day.
I know.
Yeah.
I wish I had a big, tall, cold glass of milk right now. That'd really throw my stomach out of whack.
So yeah, I'm excited that you guys love
No,
it.
this
It
is
really
awesome.
is good. I'm
This
not
is
just
really
saying
good.
that
Thanks,
to
Molly.
suck up
No,
to
it
you.
really is. It is good.
So yes, this will be available in retailers, and we'll have, that'll be, of course, during carnival season. So like from January through February, and we'll have it on our website that I think is like eatfitkingcake.com. But yeah, so super excited. Oh, and then the other thing is unrefined ships. So during carnival season, if someone says I really want a king cake, but I'm not in an area that has them, unrefined can ship on dry ice.
That's good to know, because a lot of people that maybe were raised in New Orleans and in Louisiana, they move away, but they want to still celebrate. And you live up somewhere in New England or something, like, I don't even know what a king cake is. So they can ship it to you. That's great.
So that was
I'm telling you, it's delicious.
I eat that king cake all day.
That was really good.
That was really good.
I've had some king cakes that weren't that good.
What's the neatest thing about it is, as y'all hear, there's so much, my whole mission of all these different outlets is like, how can we make it easy for people? How can we provide the education, but also make it easy? And so,
and taste good.
And taste good. And so what's been the neatest thing is when we do see that there's a barrier or there's not an option, to have the opportunity to create something to fill that is like the coolest thing ever. Yeah.
So good.
Wow,
Well,
I'm really amazed.
Bakery, that they're out of Dallas, so they, in addition to this gluten-free, dairy-free king cake, they have other great options.
Oh, they have a
too.
ton of things. Actually,
we'll be looking into that
Yes.
because we have we said our brother-in-law, that could be where his birthday cake comes from next year.
She's super talented, Taylor, and they have something called whoopie pies. They're
I like whoopie pies.
Yeah, so they have. They're also Eat Fit approved. They're all the stuff that we love in there, and not the stuff we don't. But they've got cupcakes. They've got all kinds of stuff.
Now, when you're eating something that is that clean, it's still, you can't just go hog wild and eat an entire cake, right? I mean, you're still got to.
Well, it still has calories, right?
It still has calories.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just because it's the gluten-free, I think a lot of people think, well, it says it's sugar-free or it's fat-free. I can eat
more,
2 or 3 times as much, and then you're undoing the good, right?
That, and like Alan said, this still has calories, and then it's also edging out other stuff that we probably should be eating instead. If you're just eating all these like gluten-free sweets, we're not getting that real,
right?
Not that it's not real food, but we're not getting the omega-3s, the salmon, the broccoli, all that stuff.
That's great.
That's a good treat, though. I mean,
yes,
exactly. It's a great treat. Everything in moderation, babe.
I know. Something we should have practiced on Sunday.
Oh, Lord, we paid for that, but we learned our lesson.
We did.
We're being good today. Well, Molly Kimball, mollykimball.com. And like she said, you can email her, molly@mollykimball.com. If you have any questions you want to ask her, you're like, oh, Kellie and Allen, I can't believe you didn't ask the most obvious nutrition question. Well, I'm sorry. We didn't think of it. So if you have a question, you can email that to Molly, and maybe she'll address that in a future podcast. You can catch her at Fueled. Is that how you just find it? Is it just under Fueled?
Yeah, so you can search Fueled, FUELED, or you can type in my name, Molly Kimball, and
podcast, or anywhere you download a podcast. It's part of the Yay Network families. We're always happy to have one of our sister podcasters on with us.
Yes.
And you can go ahead and pre-order Molly's Eat Fit Cookbook at eatfitcookbook.com. And let's see, what else do we need to say about you, Molly, and what you got going on?
Let's see. I think we covered it. All
Everything?
kinds of just like fun stuff, though, and always just excited that to have the opportunities to be able to share this information for people. That's we do a lot of. I do a lot of research. I dig, and I try to make it in easy to understand terms so that that it's science based. It's real stuff. We're not just like promoting something that we're it's maybe the flavor of the month, but it's real stuff. But making it easy to hear.
Great.
I have one last question.
All right,
it's something that you and I talk about and we don't know the answer to, but it seems like, and I'm sure a lot of parents have this question too, it seems like over the years, the amount of children's allergies at school has, I don't know if it's really increased or not, but it seems like there's a lot more talk about children at schools that have peanut allergies or cashew allergies. And in fact, none of our children do. But I get notes from the children's teachers that say you can't send peanuts, cashews, because there's a child that has an airborne cashew allergy.
And we were just saying that when we were growing up, we just don't remember there being that prevalence of nut allergies and things like that. Is there something, do you think, in your educated opinion, that we're doing in our diets that's causing these allergies in our kids now?
There was actually a report that came out last week. I want to say it was Friday I read it, that absolutely is. It is on the rise. That these are the food allergies are more prevalent.
Yeah.
But it didn't explain the why. But they are. So it's not just that we've got more helicopter parents or hypersensitive and hyper aware, but there are more of those. I also read, I think it was this morning, that they are looking for a trial for a medication that would like help to curb that severe reaction people have for a peanut allergy. That basically the medication would be like gradually introducing them to like more and more and more of the peanut. So if that gets approved, that would, I think, be out next year.
Because I think I remember we had a friend whose children were severely allergic. They gradually started through a doctor, not on their own. They would give them like one peanut, and then they would gauge the reaction, and gradually they would increase the peanuts they were eating until
they found a peanut.
They were able to, literally, and until they were able to conquer it. But I don't think every allergy is that simple. To figure
I don't
out.
know. It seems like there's been
Just so much more
over
of
the
it.
years than I remember, but I wasn't thinking about it as a kid.
Yeah, I feel like there's several things like that you go, gosh, like
What are we doing in our
Yes.
environment that's causing this? Because there's something we're doing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't just happen like that, right? Molly, figure it out and get back to us.
Fix the peanut allergies,
You do all the work. We'll just ask the questions. But it's questions like that. You ask, and Molly can maybe address that on a Future Fueled podcast, although we just had it answered today on a sandwich and some Lovin. Thank you, Molly, for joining us.
Thanks, Molly.
This has been a blast, y'all.
That was
Thanks
fun.
so much.
Good.
That was some good information, and hopefully our listeners will find you at mollykimball.com and follow her podcast and try out that cookbook and order that king cake. It was fabulous.
It was really good.
Yes.
I'm surprised. I shouldn't be because Molly brought it, but I was a little surprised at how good it tastes.
You were skeptical.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, honey, thank you for joining me for this podcast. Always good to see you up at my office here at Kid Craddock Morning Show Studios.
Well, you don't have to thank me. I'm one of the co-hosts, right?
I know, but you made the effort to come up here.
I know. I'm just.
It's a little drive for you.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Well,
you can go hang out now with. Okay, a little peek behind the curtain. Boss Me and George.
Oh, he's over there
professional
making
all.
faces and hitting the door.
He's
and
friends
what's he?
with Molly.
I know he is,
He's
but
from New Orleans.
Right.
So I
I
guess
think
y'all
he
knew each
wanted
other.
to come join us.
Boss Me and George is so unprofessional. Do y'all know each other from like New Orleans days?
Yes, yeah. My husband and him actually went to college together.
Okay,
George
yeah.
came to our wedding out in California. Like, yes.
Well, George is
Of
throwing
course.
himself against the studio, and Molly, you're a professional. She just kept
she just
talking.
plowed right through it.
I'm giving George the evil
I
eye.
almost mooned him.
I think he might have pressed his cheek against the window.
Yeah.
At one point.
Greasy
Face
spot
cheek.
over there.
Yeah.
Well, that's Boss Man George for
That
you.
was
So
Boss
you can go
Man.
hang out with him for a while. We'll go visit. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of A Sandwich and Some Lovin'.
All right, babe. Well, we covered a lot of ground. I love you desperately.
I love you.
I love Molly desperately for joining us on the podcast. And I love all our listeners desperately. But I'm sure we'll podcast again real soon.
Real
right?
soon.
All right. Well, in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich. Just make it a healthy one.